Central Pennsylvania. Hope you're all well today. It looks like that keeps covering my face, that hat. You don't want to see my eyes. Hide that. So anyway, I take the hat off. Welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you join me. It's just a brief broadcast. Not going to have time to do news today. I'm going to give the National Football League one more chance today. You see the Indianapolis Colts are playing in Frankfurt, presumably at the Waldstadion. Game's about to start. So I'm going to watch that game and see how turgid it is and see if I can forgive them for their hatred of America and the nonsense they've put up with I've put up with them for the past several years, ever since Colin Kaepernick. But that's not the purpose of this stream. The purpose of this stream, short notice, is to talk about Standard Bank. Now, there was a sitcom many years ago. Somebody said, "You got some splaining to do." Well, Standard Bank's got some splaining to do. First off, let me point this out. Others will write about it. Others will question it. But it's always others after they see my videos that we hear these things coming out. So let me just point this out very quickly. All right. If you're a bank and a customer inquires about documents that they've received from another client for payment, you have a responsibility to do due diligence to get an answer for that client. Now, a proper bank would not allow a communication to be sent back to a third party without some sort of leader verifying what was actually in it. So this is what should have happened to Standard Bank. I don't know what happened, and actually I suspect there's a bit of a cover-up here. Definitely a cover-up to cover up their culpability, but I think it might even be a cover-up tied to the EFF. I have no evidence of that, just a suspicion. But let's say this. All right, so you're at the bank, you're a clerk, you're contacted by AfriForum, for example, and AfriForum wants to know, hey, are these documents legit? We got the money, but this doesn't look right. So you're a clerk, you look at it and you investigate it, and it doesn't look right. So you just on your own send an email, a message back to AfriForum confirming that the documents are fraudulent. You don't talk to your supervisor. You don't meet with the fraud department. You just, that's a decision left to a clerk. So the bank doesn't have an accountability measure for this sort of thing. So yeah, I think that Standard Bank's doing a little tap dancing here. For something of this nature, this should have gone to some sort of senior leadership, and there should have been a decision from senior leaders about what's actually happening here. What the heck is that? Oh, look like it was a bee down here. It's too cold for a bee. I'm like, it's almost freezing. I don't know how a bee would be down here. But I mean, that's just doesn't make any sense. Either this is an illegitimate bank that doesn't do business properly and needs some serious oversight, or something else is going on here. I don't know which it is. And now it is interesting. I saw on Ernst von Sale published a tweet today, as did Kali Creel. And in that, so I mean, let me get back to there's three things here. One, the EFF committed fraud, and Standard Bank is now covering it up because pressure from somebody who's rich and powerful. Either that's the case. Two, the EFF didn't commit fraud and the bank is incompetent and illegitimate. Or three, the whole thing was a setup to embarrass AfriForum and to promote the EFF as a victim of white oppression. So one of those three things is true. Either the EFF committed fraud, EFF didn't commit fraud, or it was a setup against AfriForum. Take your pick. Those are the three options here. And I guess we'll find out at some point what really happened here. Maybe. We still don't know what happened to Pala Pala, or the arms deal, or the Vreda Berry scandal, or the asbestos contract in the Free State, or Zandile Gumeda's 178 counts of fraud, or all the PPE theft, or Dr. Zwaylen Kesey's digital vibes. And he still sits in Parliament. A man, they have prima facie evidence of crimes committed by a member of Parliament, and there are no charges. No charges. I mean, can you just shake your head about that? Now, again, those are three possibilities. So when Ernst von Sale came on my program, we broke this story, and then it went all over South Africa, went viral. When he came on my program, he said that they had received the payments from the EFF. So never denied that. He said what happened is the documents looked kind of strange, and so they contacted the bank and said these are legitimate documents, and the bank said they're not. So there you go. What is this? You're going to do what tomorrow? I'm moving my banking from Standard tomorrow. Oh, okay. Well, I can understand why. This seems like a very dodgy bank. They're going to lose a lot of business over this. And in South Africa's oligarchical banking system, with only a handful of large banks, someone else is going to be a direct beneficiary. It's not like there are 10,000 small banks you can go to. There's only a handful of big banks. And so the handful of big banks will benefit from this. Yeah, they're going to lose a lot of clients. I think so too. And quite frankly, they should. Either they're lying now or they were incompetent at first. Which is it? You want to trust your money to a bank that just, well, I mean, let's put this in your, okay. So I send, who is that? Is it Gail? I think that says Gail or Gail. I can't read that. Fisk. So I send you a payment, electronic payment, and you got confirmation of the receipt for the payment, and you look at it, you got the money, but you're like, wait a second, you said your name is Chris, but it came from William. What's going on here? So you call the bank and say, hey, listen, is this legitimate payment in my account? I don't want to spend money that's not mine. I mean, I'm supposed to be getting money from some guy named Chris, but it came from William. So is this legitimate? And the bank looks at it and goes, oh, you're right. That's not right. That guy's name is not Chris. His name's William. Yeah, that's not an accurate document. That's fraudulent. That's essentially what they're saying happened. Ooh, Standard Bank. Methinks don't lie too much. Standard Bank is some deep kimchi on this. So on Twitter, Eric's Fund Sale and Kali Krill posted comments today that they had met with the bank. The bank had apologized to AfriForum for its error, its erroneous message, and that's pretty much it from AfriForum's standpoint. Somebody came back and said, are you going to apologize to EFF for slandering them? No, that's not what AfriForum did. Now, you can say this is parsing and quibbling, but what AfriForum did is they said, we received payment from the EFF for that court case, 316. They said the exact amount. They said it accurately. He said, but there was a question about the documents. There was something that didn't look correct about them, so he contacted the bank. The bank told us they were fraudulent. That's all he said. That's all he said. Eric's Fund Sale didn't speculate as to whether they were actually fraudulent. He didn't speculate as to, certainly didn't make any claims as to whether, what happened, what they're up to. Now, commentators speculated. I did that. I said, well, I mean, if, and I said with the conditional, that's a conditional. That's not a statement. If that's true, then what would be the purpose? If it's true, the only thing could be this, that, and the other. So they are in some deep kimchi here. Standard Bank is going to hurt them. This will be their Dischem moment. Unfortunately for Dischem was simply telling the truth. People are not paying attention. Next year, South Africa's economy will collapse into an utter heap of garbage because of this Employment Equity Act amendment, which is racist. It's unconstitutional in South Africa. It violates the Human Rights Declaration, which South Africa is a signatory to. And it is, frankly, I don't know if it's a crime against humanity, but boy, it's pretty close to it. I mean, when you deny people employment based on their skin color, so they can't make a living and feed their family, I mean, how close does that come to a crime against humanity? It's not too far. It's certainly a civil rights violation, where civil rights law in South Africa is very different. It's funny, someone posted on my video, by the way, let me just delve away from this for a sec from Standard Bank. I posted a video on my other channel, and I got one of these hate wankers coming on there going, oh, I see why you posted this on your U.S. channel. Here's a newsflash, folks. All of my channels are U.S. Any channel that I produce on YouTube is based off IP address in the States and based on account and bank accounts and addresses here in the States. They're all American accounts. I don't have a South African account. I don't. So these idiot thinks that I have a South African account, and that's what this account is. I post stuff on Africa. No, what I discovered over time is that with my original channel, I was covering everything. And when everybody in the world was stuck on YouTube because of lockdown, that made sense. But after my original channel was erroneously removed, then restored 23 months later, I realized that that channel, people aren't coming to it anymore. And there's no point asking my South African and Africa interested viewers to watch two channels all the time. Some do, and I'm very grateful for that. Otherwise, I get no views on the other channel. But I decided to use that channel to focus primarily on U.S. issues. It made sense. It was my original channel. So it's not a U.S. channel, but I do put stuff on there that's focused on the U.S. Anyway, so guys, I did a video in which some of you may remember I read an op-ed from a liberal Jewish woman who lives in Williamsport in New York City, and she's whining and complaining about how all her liberal friends have abandoned her for Palestine, and how as a Jew she feels isolated and on her own. And I not to attack her personally, but I said, well, that's your own fault. You're the one that associated with these people. They were never your friends. And I said, true people who are your friends are conservatives, and Christians and Muslims and Jews are conservative who are your friends. Anyway, the hate wankers have come, and they keep putting things on her. LMC, are you out there, buddy? LMC, I'm not calling him a hate wanker. There's other people who are hate wankers, but LMC always posts things on my videos that are never germane to the video. And he never comments on when I elevate or promote someone who's black, colored, or Indian in South Africa or here in the U.S. When I say good things about those people, when I interview people and talk about their plight, when I bring stories about the horrific things that happen to black South Africans, he never comments. I never see a single comment saying, oh, this is a great story, or why didn't you ask this question? It's always his predetermined world, his worldview, which is sideways to say the least, in which he comes out and says, white people, white people, white people, and now it's this Occupy Palestine nonsense. Anyway, but back to the Standard Bank thing. So it is entertaining to see that, but that's not a U.S. channel. It just covers primarily U.S. events. So anyway, Standard Bank has got some explaining to do, man. They got some serious explaining to do. They need to explain to people what's going on and what the hell they're up to, because this is not going to fly. It's not going to fly. And the EFF, if in fact the EFF has been wrong, well, Standard Bank owes them something. Now, since EFF is not a business, at least we don't believe it's a business, it's a political party, the EFF is not a going concern, so I'm not sure what damage they could have. They could have reputational damage, and if anything, they probably could sue Standard Bank for misleading AfriForum. AfriForum simply reported the facts. Now, quite frankly, I'm not gonna judge AfriForum, and I don't know what actions they took. They might have tried to contact the EFF and ask what was going on, or they just simply went to the bank. I think that, if it had been me, just saying, if it had been me, I might have taken the same path that AfriForum took, and then as an extra step, ask for some forensic auditors or something like that, or then contact the EFF and say, hey, how come you're these documents? What's going on here? Yeah, but they did break the story, and I broke it here. So, yeah, I don't know if the EFF is innocent. The whole thing sounds very fishy. The way Standard Bank is backtracked here, and their mea culpa doesn't seem legitimate. The huge protests disrupt the seafront. No, I didn't hear about any protests. Freelance Kate, didn't see that. I've got the meet and greet at 1:30 Eastern Standard Time at the Tangier Outlets. That's the outlet mall near the Giant Center in Hershey. 1:30, be meeting there with anyone who's in Central Pennsylvania who wants to come along. And then I'm going to the Giant Center at 3 o'clock for a hockey game with some viewers. And then anyone that wants to go is welcome, but I don't know where the seating is, so I'll have to let you know. But anyway, that's coming up later. So no regular broadcast today. And I'm also going to go watch a football game here in just a minute. So I haven't done that in a long time. Be sure to hit the like button. And yeah, put your questions out or comments, any thoughts you have on what's going on with Standard Bank. Do you think, which is it? There's three cases here, I said. There's three possibilities. One, the EFF committed fraud, and now the Standard Bank is getting a lot of pressure from somebody and they're covering it up. That's number one. Number two, the EFF didn't commit any fraud, and Standard Bank is an incompetent, idiotic bank. Or number three, the whole thing was a setup to embarrass AfriForum. And if so, AfriForum bit. Which is it? What do you think it is? Leave your comments behind. Feel free to. And look, before the hate wankers, because they'll come on here. Oh, yeah. Standard Bank is not white. It's not black. It's a bank. Okay, let's get that straight. And we're not promoting or attacking anyone based on the skin color. We're simply talking about three possibilities here. Anyway, you guys let me know. Thanks a lot. I'm going to go drop off here and go watch my football game. Real football, American football, not that, not soccer, which the world can't speak soccer, even though that's the proper name for the game. The game was invented in England. Soccer is an acronym from the actual description for the football league that was in England at the time. The name came from that. That's where the name soccer comes from. Kind of like badminton is named after a town in England called Badminton, and rugby is named after a town in Rugby. I know Julius Malema probably doesn't know that, so you could share it with him if you see him. Let Juju know that rugby originated in 1823 in a little town called Rugby, heading up towards the Midlands in central England. And William Webb Ellis supposedly picked up a football and ran with it, and the game of rugby was invented. It certainly wasn't invented in the Eastern Cape by tribes of people playing the game long before those people began playing it. Julius Malema. What an asshat. Anyway, they're covering up something. Yeah, it is very fishy, very, very, very fishy. And it's going to cost them business. If you can't trust a bank to tell the truth in something as simple as this, again, if you're a conspiracy theorist, then you might go, wow, this proves just how deep these ties and connections are of the rich and powerful who are controlling South Africa for their benefit and not for South Africans. That's what a conspiracy theorist would say. Anyway, I don't know. I'll reserve judgment for now. Thanks a lot, folks. Catch you a little bit later. And hopefully for the handful of people that might show up for the meet and greet, looking forward to seeing you guys. And we'll catch you later. From Central Pennsylvania. Y'all take care. Cheers.